If you are looking for an absolute masterclass in dual timeline historical fiction and emotional women's fiction that takes a haunting, decades-old mystery and uses it to thread a breathtaking story of lost identity, sweeping romance, and profound self-discovery, you need to clear your calendar for Soraya Lane. We are embarking on a high-stakes emotional journey across continents and eras with The Last Daughter, the spectacular, deeply moving conclusion to the globally best-selling The Lost Daughter series. Let's map out the narrative tactical layout. If you love stories where a modern, independent heroine must unearth a long-buried family secret to find her own future, where a multi-generational legacy hinges on a single antique heirloom, and where an immersive, slow-burning romance develops against a lush, atmospheric backdrop, this book is engineered to completely captivate you. Lane moves past standard historical tropes to deliver a high-velocity, beautifully structured puzzle that handles grief, survival, and untamed passion with exquisite care. The narrative introduces us to our modern-day heroine who has spent her life running from her own grief and keeping her heart behind a high-security emotional perimeter. Her world is completely upended when she is summoned to a prestigious London law firm, Hope House, where she is presented with a small box containing a unique vintage item and a cryptic clue about her biological heritage. This heirloom is the definitive link to a historic hidden past, pointing straight to an old, luxurious estate in Italy. As she arrives at the Italian vineyard to trace her lineage, she is forced into a close-quarters alliance with a handsome, brooding local historian who holds the keys to the region's high-security family archives. Parallel to her modern quest, the narrative drops us straight back into the perilous, high-stakes fallout of World War II. We follow a resilient, courageous young woman operating in the shadows of occupied Europe, working with the resistance to shield innocent lives from a brutal wartime vanguard. As her survival depends on absolute secrecy, she falls into a forbidden, high-stakes romance with an allied operator, a broad-shouldered, fiercely protective man who operates with tactical brilliance. The historic and modern timelines blur beautifully as a long-varied prophecy of family betrayal and ultimate sacrifice comes to light. It is a dual-timeline historical fiction, women's literary saga, hurt comfort, epistolary mystery masterpiece that balances breathtaking investigative momentum with deep, raw emotional healing. The chemistry in both timelines burns with an absolute comforting heat. We are talking about that high-frequency, I will search the entire world to find your truth energy, where trust is fiercely earned through shared vulnerability. The dialogue is top-tier, balancing sharp historical tension with the modern, defensive wit of two people afraid to fall in love. Lane writes with an incredibly lush, vivid, and highly cinematic voice that perfectly captures the biting terror of wartime midnight escapes, the sprawling majesty of Italian landscapes, and the quiet sanctuary found in uncovering one's true home. What truly elevates this final installment into elite literary territory is the sheer scale of the historical world-building and the flawless execution of the dual mysteries. The narrative moves with mathematical precision, tracking the modern-day investigation before ratcheting up the stakes as a major historical breakthrough blows a decades-old cover-up wide open. The Last Daughter is the definitive pro-level upgrade your historical fiction and contemporary romance library demands right now. It is panoramic, intensely passionate, and beautifully redemptive. It proves that the bonds of family and love can survive across centuries through wars and past absolute tragedy. So lock your doors, fire up your Kindle, and prepare to be utterly swept away by the final piece of the puzzle.